Second of all, I want to just talk about some club wins. I've got some notes written down here. I've listed out 7 wins that I've been able to pick up on. Probably only going to share with you 4 today. Maybe in the next couple of days I'll send another video out. But these are sort of intangible wins. These are wins that can never be forecasted. They can't be planned for or forced. And in some cases, these wins cannot be guaranteed. These type of wins, they arrive on their own. They have their own timeline. And if a club is, and parents and players are willing to iterate long enough to create the optimal conditions for their arrival, then they come. If we don't have those optimal conditions, then they don't come. So these things require work, patience, faith. And this is why clubs that are not really about development, let's just call them non-developers, they won't experience these kinds of wins. They want that dopamine hit of winning at all costs. They don't believe in the long-term process. They believe in shortcuts. So I guess the first win that I've picked up on, that I've seen, that I've sensed, that I've felt is self-selection. See, players will decide for themselves whether they're a fit for our vision or not. Because our vision isn't for everyone. Players have been taught implicitly by the culture that we live in that they're entitled to the shiny objects without the required work to achieve them. So in that respect, we are a countercultural club. And, those kind of players, those families, they won't stay around long enough to see if our vision has any merit. But some will, and some will take the leap. And we will give time and energy to those families. And we will see other players that have jumped ship from the outside. They'll be attracted back to our vision over time. Players who leave, they finally realize they were wrong and they want to come back. And by the end of it, we'll have a fully committed club. And when I say end, it could be the end of a 2-year process, maybe, of establishing, or living out, fleshing out the vision and establishing the culture. And we'll have a fully committed club of players who not only fully believe in our vision, and they can't imagine being anywhere else, and they don't want to be anywhere else. So that's a win that I'm seeing is this self-selection. Players themselves are realizing that, they're self-selecting. They want to be a part of this process. They buy in to what we're doing here. The other thing is I've been really very pleased with the supportive parent culture. After the initial bumps in the road there at the beginning, parents are harder to sell on a vision like ours, development over everything. And our message can be understood by a player or their parents only to be completely upended in a moment's notice when something wrong happens, and then all of a sudden they're out. But the real truth is I think that there's been a lot of parental support. There's been patience. There's been people with understanding, and they can see that we're teaching the players, and the parents are on the journey as well, and is learning as they go. And so sometimes that self-selection process that I talked about also has to do with parents self-selecting, and we've seen that. I think the third thing is the third win I'd like to point out is the true personal development. Our players will rise above the surrounding culture. They will rise above it. The sport, we see the sport as a vehicle for growth at its most foundational level. I mean, we're preparing players for their future lives on and off the field, which means that we've given them the emotional tools, or trying to give them the emotional tools to handle adversity. And, it's great to see when players assimilate those tools and they make them their own, a part of their own DNA, part of their own heart and soul. Most players, they get chewed up and spit out by the culture that we live in, our pop culture. and they become these passive, scared victims of circumstance. Kids that just want to try to fit in, and they become their own biggest challenge. But our players, the goal with our players is within a few years, our culture flies in the face of pop culture, and we make them rise above it. The fourth is I've seen that our players are getting ready for the future game. We have our girls team, Eddie's team, that's prepping for 11v11, which is a big step. They're going to go a year early, and I've seen that they've been training really hard. They've got a good little culture within their own team, and it's awesome to see. And I believe that they are ready. Our playing vision, our playing style, prepares players to grow, not just for the weekend, not just for that tournament, not just to go onto the champions stage there and shoot off some fireworks or whatever, but we really do. We're trying to prepare them for the many weekends still to come, including the ones where these coaches are no longer their coaches, and it demands more, but it prepares players for what's to come next in their journey. So over the time, I know that you're going to see the growth, and our playing vision is a bet. It's really a gamble. It's a bet on our people, the people that are in front of us, our players, the families that we're serving. We believe in your potential to play at a higher level, and we're trying to prepare you for that. So all of a sudden, you'll see the players. They will be consistently, week after week, executing at a very high level, and I think we're beginning to see that. So I think those are a few of the wins that I'm beginning to see. I want to encourage everyone to stay the course. I know that I'm fully committed, and I hope you stay fully committed, because we want to do the very best we can with your players, so that they're in love with the game for the rest of their lives. And it's good to be a part of Core Fontaine. Let's go CFC.